So hello, fellow Earthlings. This is Earthling 6455463728. And the story of Abraham and Isaac is everything that is wrong with religion. And I'll go into that in a minute. Well, like I said, I am Earthling, yada yada yada. And when the elastic on my underwear gets to be too weak, I actually take a needle and thread and bunch it together so that it will be, I sew it up so that it will be tight again. Now that I think about it, I have actually worn underwear to the point where it had a hole in it. And that probably came about for some other reason, but anyway, I am an ex-reservist from the Army. I have traveled quite a lot, which is really cool. I got at least as far as graduate level education. I got a scholarship a long time ago, and I have done a lot of different types of hobbies, skills. So yeah, that's me. Anyway, the story of Isaac and Abraham and Isaac. I just looked it up, and it's called The Binding of Isaac, or something like that. Anyway, I was listening to my mom. She listened to service, I guess that's what you call it. And the guy, the priest, the preacher, the whatever, he was talking about the part where the Israelites, they go into the land of Canaan, and they're so afraid of the people there, even though God told them that this was the land that was supposed to be for them. And I thought about it, and I was like, it's interesting how the priests could be like just glossing over the fact that later on they're just going to murder and slaughter a whole bunch of different people in order to get that land. And yeah. So anyway, I did a little bit of a back and forth with my mom, and then I came to the point where I was like, what's the worst thing about religion is that it is something that's used by people to gain power. And the whole point of it is do whatever I say because God said so. And when you look at it from that perspective, the story of Abraham, why am I saying Abraham? The story of Abraham and his son, Isaac, epitomizes everything that is wrong and bad, and really the whole point of religion, which is to have power over people. And you totally see it. I mean, everybody's supposed to know the story. But if you don't know the story, God promised Abraham that he would have a lot of descendants, as many as, I think, grains of sand on the beach. And he was getting old, and he wasn't having a son. And then he finally had a son. And when he had the son, God told him, hey, go sacrifice your son for me in this particular place. And the whole idea was that Abraham was supposed to love God and listen to God and do anything that God said, whatever it was. If he said, jump, he's supposed to say how high. So basically, Abraham takes his son to the appointed place, fully expecting, I guess, because we don't know what's in the mind of Abraham. And I guess, which is a really stupid side note, God didn't know what was in the head of Abraham either. So God had to let him go through all of that stuff because God didn't really know if he was going to do it or not. That's what we're supposed to believe, I guess. And as it happened, just as he was about to kill his son, God said, hey, hold up, don't do it. There's a ram over there. You can sacrifice your ram to me instead of your son. So, yeah, there's a problem that God had to have him go through all of that in order to prove it to him. I don't know. God clearly doesn't know what's in. And then you go back to the whole thing with Adam and Eve. God didn't know that that was going to happen either. I don't know. Anyway, the whole point is that there is a story. I don't know if it was Plato or Socrates, whereby either one of them is talking to somebody else and they're asking the person, listen, is it that something is good because the gods say that it's good? Or is it good because it's good? Now, if it's good because it's good, it means that there's something that is above even the power of the gods. Good is good. And if it is that something's only good because a god says that it's good, then, good is just really just the whim of the gods. It doesn't really matter. I'm sure there's probably a worse implication to it than just that. But yeah, because it doesn't really seem like that seems so horrible. But clearly, if there's an intrinsic good that's above the gods, then the gods are not ultimately powerful. There's something above them. There's a truth that exists above them. And if it is that is just whatever it is that the gods say, then I don't remember the implications of that, but clearly there's a problem with that as well, because you might think that you're doing something good because it's really good, but then it's not really good because the gods don't want you to do that now. But it all comes down to, apparently, for Jews at that time, good was whatever God said was good. And you see that all throughout the Bible. There is no absolute good. It's just whatever God says at whatever time, that's what's good. So if God wanted to kill every living thing with a flood, then that is good, because God can do what he wants. If God wants to have this lady turn to salt because she looked back, and God lets King David, what's the word? Commit adultery with the wife of one of his generals, and then make everything okay, and nothing happens to David, like he doesn't have to pay any price, really, then that's good too. Even in the New Testament, if, God wants to give somebody who has devoted their entire life to him the same reward as somebody who has sinned for their entire life, and at the very last minute says, okay, I want to be good now, both of them get the exact same reward, then it's just whatever God says that goes. And it doesn't really sound like, even with Jesus saying it, sorry, but it more sounds like some kind of a dictator king who is saying that and wanting to be able to say and do anything that they want, even if it contradicts something that they said 5 minutes ago, just simply saying, because God said so. And I mean, as I was telling my mom, every religion out there uses, any leaders always say that I am descended from the gods. That's what the Egyptians said, that they were descended from the gods. That's what people in the New World, indigenous people, the Aztecs, and all of these other people, they were descended from the gods. Or in Europe, the kings and queens, they were kings and queens because God had ordained that they should be kings and queens. So everybody used the power of the supernatural to wield power over other people. And they didn't want any silly things like rules that everybody should have to obey, to have to apply to them. I wanted to do a piece on Japan, And in Japan, during the period, I suppose, before the Europeans came in and forced Japan to open up, there's a whole idea of honor. And even, I guess, up to today, there's this whole point of honor. But what I understood when I started listening to some of these things, like in the times of the Shogun, was that honor was really for the weak. Like, if your Shogun told you to commit seppuku, I hope I'm saying that right, I think I am, then you're supposed to do it. You know, if you did something and you didn't like it, commit seppuku for the honor of your family. But that same Shogun can do anything that he wants, and there's nobody can tell him that he needs to commit seppuku. So honor was really, it's supposed to be honorable to do the X or Y or Z, but honor was really just a tool. It was just a tool to be used, just like religion, to control people. And it's really unfortunate that people don't see that, I think. That they don't see that, just like in the case of Donald Trump, for example, there are fears about immigrants, about minority, their fears about minorities, about whatever. Those things are just used as tools to get you to do what they want you to do. Anyway, this is a short one today, so feel free to look at some of my other videos, like, share, subscribe, comment, dislike, any of those things that are possible using the methods that are available to you, with the idea that, hey, what would you want somebody to do for your recording? Have a good one. Peace.